Imagine working with an assistant who completely forgets everything the second you minimize their chat window. You ask for help, but they are blind to the actual work happening on your screen. To catch them up, you have to manually copy and paste your repository details, grab the text from a failing continuous integration log, and describe the error spikes on your dashboard. Standard artificial intelligence memory depends entirely on what you explicitly type. It misses the rich live context surrounding the prompt. AI memory evolved across three phases. Phase 1 is chat history. Phase 2 reads explicit files, like curated system rules. Phase 3 crosses the vision boundary. Instead of waiting for files, it infers context dynamically by observing live machine activity. OpenAI is testing this leap with a feature called Chronicle. It is an experimental opt-in tool for the Codex app on macOS, designed to observe your screen context. This moves the burden of gathering context away from you, relying instead on the machine's ability to watch and record the workflow. If your code fails, you no longer have to meticulously write out the exact error parameters. A developer can ask a vague question like, "Why is this failing?" And the agent will use recent visual screen context to notice the failed GitHub actions ran in the background. The system identifies the correct external source you were just looking at. If you mention a latest draft, it locates the specific Google Doc or Slack thread you had open and pulls data from that source directly. It operates as an intelligent router, bridging your shorthand questions with the specific data points currently active on your desktop. To do this, the pipeline starts by gathering temporary screen captures locally on your device. Those captures are then pushed to an ephemeral server session in the cloud for processing. Once on OpenAI servers, the system uses optical character recognition to extract text from those frames. It summarizes the workflow activity and then immediately deletes the original screenshots without retaining them for model training. That summarized text is then pushed back down to your computer. It lives inside a dedicated folder as an unencrypted plain text markdown file outlining your recent environment and actions. The heavy computational lifting of image extraction happens remotely, but the permanent, auditable memory record remains entirely on your local hard drive. This approach differs sharply from competing systems like Anthropic's Claude Code. Claude relies heavily on explicit context engineering, expecting you to maintain specific rule files. Chronicle trades that strict control for the convenience of ambient observation. It also serves a different purpose than Microsoft Recall. Recall builds a searchable visual timeline designed for human users to retrace their steps. Chronicle acts as a literal data pipeline built to feed context directly into a coding agent. It functions strictly as a specialized context engine designed to power autonomous workflows. But stripping away the friction of manual prompts creates a new set of problems. Achieving a seamless workflow requires a massive expansion of the endpoint threat surface. Because the system monitors your entire display, it inevitably captures sensitive information. A background screen catcher cannot distinguish between a public code repository and an open banking portal or a private message thread. Opening the agent to visual input also introduces serious prompt injection risks. If you happen to browse a website containing malicious text, the optical extraction tool might pull those hostile instructions and feed them straight into the agent's execution queue. Generating these memories carries a high operational cost. Running sandboxed models in the background to constantly analyze and summarize images will rapidly burn through your API rate limits. These combined vulnerabilities explain why OpenAI is keeping this locked to an experimental preview. Deploying ambient AI safely demands a complete reevaluation of how we handle enterprise endpoint security. While it's currently a single feature, Chronicle signals a move toward persistent digital teammates, agents that watch, remember, and execute alongside you. As this model of work matures, highlighted on the panel to the right, the AI takes over the cognitive load of tracking the project state. Crossing the context gap changes the nature of the job. Developers will stop spending their time explaining the problem to the machine and finally spend it directing the machine on how to solve it.